Good afternoon. This is Tracy Cotton from Morrow Insurance Agency in Marion, North Carolina, and this is my daily Periscope. Always a question of the day, always a question about small business or farm insurance. And I hope that y'all are having a wonderful Tuesday. I'm a little early today. I had been doing a little bit later in the afternoon, but I had to go early today just to get it taken care of. And so I hope that so far Tuesday is treating you really well. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, just to let you know that I may be talking to the screen or answering questions, and that would be because this is actually a live Periscope that I record, and people can ask me questions, and those go down at the bottom of the screen, or I may be just saying hi to people as they check in. And so if you happen to see that, happen to hear that, you won't actually see that on your screen on YouTube. But just hope everybody's having a good day today. As some of you may be aware, hey Reagan, how are you? Thanks so much for the hearts. Hope you're having a great day so far. One of the things that that I do on a daily basis is answer a question of the day. And I had this question posed to me the other day while I was shopping. I was actually shopping in Asheville at one of my favorite consignment stores. And I won't mention names just because I don't want to put them on the spot and make them feel bad because they didn't know something. It was just a situation that they were happened to be talking about, an incident that they had a couple of years ago where, thanks for joining us today, where they have a shop that's on a corner. And because it's on a corner, they've actually had their storefront damaged more than once by big trucks trying to come around the corner and making a really sharp turn and sometimes not making it. And so a couple of years ago, when they had that happen, it actually took out enough of the front of the store that they had to be closed down for 9 days while it was being re-bricked, while they were putting in a new window, the whole 9 yards. And this is a very, very small consignment store. I mean, if I had to guess, we're probably talking about maybe 800 or 900 square feet. I mean, it's very small. They work on a very shoestring budget. It's a family operation. It's two sisters that run it. One does most of the sales, the other does most of the marketing. But one of the things that they were talking about was, I happened to say, well, did insurance help you out? And they were like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, when you had that incident, and they said, well, none of our stuff was actually damaged and we don't own the building. And so the insurance only paid out to the business owner, the building owner. And I went, so you didn't have any loss of use type of coverage, any business income? And they were like, well, what's that? And so what they had missed out on was something that a lot of business owners are not aware of. It is a coverage that can be added on to their package or business owner's policy. Sometimes it comes in as an automatic coverage, at least a little bit of coverage. And what it does is if you have to be closed while something is being rebuilt, repaired, whatever it takes because of a loss to the building, or even within the building, and maybe it didn't actually happen to the building itself, maybe it was smoke damage that affected a whole business, you could end up having to be closed. Something happens and they have to tear up the street in front of you. And that happens. I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever had this happen before, but you've wanted to go to a store and couldn't get to it because they were redoing a sidewalk or something like that. If your business has to be closed, there's a lot of different reasons that it could be closed because of. Typically because there's been a loss to the building or some reason you had to be closed. Equipment breakdown. If you are a restaurant and all your refrigerators went out, and we actually talked about this in another Periscope that we'll revisit again at some point, that if you have a business that's dependent on something like coolers and they were to go out, you might have to be closed. Hopefully you don't have to be closed for a day. But if it was something major, you might have to be closed for several days. And for small business owners, it doesn't matter if you're an office, a retail, a restaurant, whatever, if you have to be closed for several days, it's money. It's money not coming in the door. It's every day that you don't have the doors open for the public. Or for that matter, even if you're an office that doesn't have customers that come in, if you're an office that talks on the phone all day and you don't have any place to go for your people to be answering the phones or doing whatever it is they do, inside sales. I mean, you get the drift here. The more days that you're closed, the more income you're missing out on. That coverage is not that expensive, but do look into it and find out what the broadest coverage that you can get. Because one of the things that we run into is there may be a little bit of coverage built in, but it may not be full amount of income. It might only be a partial amount of your income. And so, yeah, income loss is an option on your business owner's policy. And it's a really important one because them just fixing the problem, them just getting you back your goods or building it back is great. But for all those days, weeks, possibly even months that you might be without an income because you can't be operating, and hopefully you can put something else. I mean, there's actually people who've had that happen where you had to set up a temporary location. I think that what you're asking about is does that affect your taxes if you actually have to claim underneath your insurance for loss of income? And it's treated just like regular income, but I think that what most of the time the tax advisors, and I'm not a tax advisor, but I know that they actually are able to put that underneath the loss category. So if you lost goods in the actual insurance claim, if you had lost time and so forth, that it's not like you're going to get double coverage per se. But you may get some credit for that, so you don't have to even count that as a regular income during that time period. But definitely check with your tax advisor on that, because it's not like you're actually gaining anything. You're just trying to get back what you normally would have had during that time period. But I think it still may be able to be considered as part of a loss, because very often the loss does affect your goods. It does affect a building that maybe you do have covered and so forth. So that's the quick answer to something that is really important. Check with your local insurance agent, whoever does your insurance, and find out, do I have business income coverage? And if I don't, what can I add? What can I get? Just to protect yourself so that you don't have to go without income during a time period when you can't be open for business. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Hope that you have a great rest of the day. Remember, who cares about your insurance? That's me, Tracy Cotton at Morrow Insurance Agency. Thanks.